My name's Steve Pinto. I own a company called View Reality, and you're watching Gold. I've been an entrepreneur for the last 10 years. I've had lots of different businesses. I owned billboards for a while. I've had a trucking and logistics company. I at one point made noodles, 2-minute noodles, as well for a little bit. I've had a software development company that was about 50 people strong. I've had a pizza place, like a pizzeria down in Cape Town for a little while. I own a co-working space here in Johannesburg, and I also own this company, New Reality, downstairs that does augmented virtual reality. It does 360 video, and it does traditional videos as well. I've built businesses that build products, and I've been just trying for the last 10 years to try everything that I wanted to try, try every different kind of industry, see what I enjoyed, what I didn't enjoy. And, that's, the direction I got pushed into, the direction of choice. My parents gave me the choice to do what I want, and they've been very supportive. And they don't understand half the things that I do, but, they were very supportive about all the initiatives that I tried to do in my life. I went to a good school in Woodbank. I grew up in a small town that was basically in a mining. It was a mining town, about an hour and a half out of Joburg, and it was a small town. It didn't have all the greatest facilities. It didn't have great internet. Didn't have really computer stores. It didn't have, all the things that I desperately wanted in my life. And there was no technology really. And every time my parents took me to Joburg or took me to Pretoria, it was the best day possible. I could go to the stores, I could see all the new tech, I could see things, I could buy books, I could buy magazines, and that was the chance that I got to really see what the world was like and see what was offered. Because in my little town, there wasn't much. That was the only hindrance. I feel that up until about 18 years old, when I was still in school, I was nobody, and I had nothing. I had no vision, no ambition. But when I left my small town, I realized how big the world really is. My perception of it changed, and I was able to do a lot more. I felt that the small towns, they make you feel constricted. They make you feel confined. They make you feel that you don't have the ability to do big things, great things. And as soon as I started to travel the world, I realized that you can do anything. You just need to be able to get up and go and do it. I was once in Germany, in Berlin, and I went into a Lego store. And this was about 7 or 8 years ago. And I went into a Lego store and I saw something that fundamentally changed everything to me. You could go to the Lego store and you could take a box off the shelf, and you could go to the corner of the store, and they had a screen and a camera, and you could take the box and you could put it in front of the camera, and you could see exactly what you were going to build in Lego, but in 3D. So I took off a box on the shelf. I remember this. It was a ship. It was like a pirate ship. And I took the box and I put it in front of the camera, and I could see the 3D model on the screen of what I was going to build. And I could see all the characters running around, and I could see what this toy was going to be like, even though I hadn't even built it. It was just for me to see what it looked like. And that fundamentally changed everything in my mind, because I realized that technology was at the point where we could visually imagine anything and we could create it. And that's when I decided then and there that this was the technology that was going to change the world. Augmented reality was going to be immense. It radically change everything we thought about. And when that moment happened, I realized that it's still in its infancy, that it still had a long, long, long way to go before it was going to be amazing. But in the last 8 years, I've seen it grow immensely, and massive changes have happened in the industry, and huge companies have been built around this technology and how this technology is going to change our future. When I saw that, everything clicked in my mind, and I knew what the next 20 years of the world was going to look like. Well, the biggest problem that I have in my business is that I'm not in America. When you're a tech business, a tech startup, if you go to California, you go to San Francisco, you go to New York, you can find funding, you can find partners, you can find suppliers, you can find everything you need, because you're in America. Everything's there that you need. When you're in South Africa, you don't get the access to the funding. You don't get the resources. There aren't hundreds and hundreds of people with the talent that you need to create these businesses. They're all in another country. I think the biggest challenge that we have in South Africa is that we don't have all the same resources that the other companies that are playing in the same industries have. If I failed 100 times, I would never succeed until I tried another time. You have to keep trying because it'll eventually turn into success. We don't like to use the word failure, and failure is not the right word. It hasn't happened yet. That's what it is. When you try and you don't succeed, it's just because it's not the right time. Just keep trying. Just keep trying. Just keep talking to people. Just keep becoming better. Keep learning. Keep building until you get to the point where you succeed, because perseverance is the key to success. If you give up, you will never succeed. But if you keep trying, you will succeed. You just need to keep going at it. You're going to fail a lot of times. In entrepreneurship, nobody tells you how hard it is because you can't describe it. I can't tell you how hard it is to start a business and to grow it to a point where you can feed yourself and you can have the luxuries that a normal man does in a normal job. But I can tell you that every day that person's sitting in his normal job, getting his normal salary and having his normal life is every day wasted because he's not doing what he could possibly do. He's just doing enough to survive. You need to do more than that. If you persevere and you push harder and you keep pushing until you make it happen, you will succeed. I think in my life, the greatest thing that I've been a part of was New Reality. The people are fantastic. The projects are amazing. The clients we have are the best we could imagine. And we're doing things that no South African company is unable to do. I believe that we're on the forefront of a lot of the technology that we're playing with. And I believe that we have the skill set and the ability to compete at a global level. I think that I've waited many years for the technology and the industry to be at a point where we could make a sustainable business out of it. And that moment is now. I feel that New Reality and even in Pello, the co-working space, these are the pinnacles of my life at this moment. I think that the one thing that I've learned in the last 10 years is that you need to help people understand. You need to figure out what is the simplest way to get your message across. What's the simplest way for people to understand what it is that you're trying to sell them? What is the thing that you're trying to get them to believe in? I think that in New Reality, I've been able to convince people to give us a chance to see what's really possible with the things that we can build. And we've been able to deliver them. We've been able to deliver on every promise that we gave. I think that all the clients and all the people that have come to join the team and the people that have supported us and given us projects to work on, those are the people that I will constantly respect and the people that I'm eternally grateful for. Because when you're trying to sell something that nobody understands and they still trust you and they still give you an opportunity, that's powerful. When somebody gives you an opportunity, you must respect that. You must put every bit of effort that you possibly can do into achieving it. Because when you promise someone something, you must deliver it. And I'm just very grateful that everyone gave us the opportunity to deliver it. So we just did a documentary for the United Nations in 360 in VR. We flew to Kenya and we went to a refugee camp called Kakuma. It houses about 180,000 refugees from South Sudan and from Somalia. And the stories that we were able to capture of people that were still able to prosper in their lives, they were still able to get education, they were still able to emancipate themselves. And even though they lost everything because of wars and because they had to flee from one country to another, they were still able to become great humans of the world. They just needed opportunities. They just needed resources and they were able to achieve great things. We've profiled some great refugees that have been doing amazing things and don't even seem like refugees. I won't forget, there's a young lady, her name is Maya Alua. She's originally from South Sudan. She now lives in Kenya. She's still a refugee, but She just got a bursary to study at the University of Nairobi. She has a blog. She writes all her content for apps. She's so productive and so active in her community, and she's still a refugee. And we were able to tell that story. We were able to capture that story and share it with the world. We're going to show it later this month. And I think that's the greatest thing that we were able to pull off. The greatest thing we were able to do was to tell the story of people and their resilience. Even though she's living in a refugee camp in the middle of Africa, she's still able to have a blog. She's still able to write content for websites. She's still able to get herself to university and to find a bursary. And she's still able to pursue and get the education that she deserves. I really believe that was one of the most powerful projects that we were involved in. It was just telling her story and showing that the human strength and human resilience has no bounds. No matter where you are, no matter what your circumstances are, you're able to prosper. And that's probably one of my greatest achievements, is to capture that story and to try and share it with the world. The first thing that you need to ask yourself is, what is that thing that will keep me up in the middle of the night? What is that thing that I'd rather be doing than sleeping? What is that thing that I'd rather be doing than eating? When you find what that thing is, whether it's art, whether it's business, whether it's construction, whether it's food and cooking, whatever it is, whatever that activity is that you do in your life, that you would rather do that than anything else, when you find what that is, pursue it and just put as much effort as you possibly can into it. You will find success. You will find personal growth. You will find the happiness that everyone in their lives search for. When you find that one thing that you would rather do than anything else in the whole world, and you just pursue it. So once you find that, regardless of what it is, whatever it is that makes you truly happy, that's what you must be pursuing every day. You do that and you just keep trying, and no matter how long it takes, you don't give up. You just keep going at it. That's how you find ultimate success. That's how you succeed. When you can figure out what those things are and what it is that you need to do in your life to make you truly happy, just keep going there and just keep pushing every day, and you will find success. So I think the first thing that you must know in your life is what you're good at. You must embrace what you're good at and not what you're bad at. If you're good at something, you must pursue it until you're the best at it. If other people around you are good at other things, make them the best at what they are. The worst thing that you can do is try to do something that you're not good at. So it took me many years to realize this, but in my business, I know the two things that I have to do every day is that I have to put out fires and I have to add 10%. If you come into my business and you're not 90% of the way where you need to be, if you're not 90% of the direction in your life where you need to be, I don't want you to come in. I want you to come 90% to my business, and I want to give you the last 10% that makes you truly happy and makes you excel. That's my job. My job is to add 10% and to put out fires when they're on. When clients are upset, it's my job to fix it. When projects are out of time, it's my job to fix it. But my job is not to do everyone else's job. My job is to add 10% so that they can do their jobs better. When you find what you're very good at, embrace it and become better at that every day. If you're good at project management, manage the projects. If you're good with the clients, manage the clients. If you're good at selling, sell. If you're good at making, make. But don't do everything in your business. That's the first way you're going to fail, because you can't make more of yourself. Just find people who are good at what they do and surround yourself. My ultimate goal is to get into hardware and to manufacture hardware. I feel that Africans have huge potential, and especially in South Africa, we have huge potential to compete globally with hardware, and especially in these new industries that we're starting to play in. The next 5 years, I believe that we can create companies here in Africa that can manufacture and can compete with other, companies globally. I want to just keep doing that. I just want to be able to merge technology and humanity closer and closer together, because I think when you do that, that's when you make real magic. And I just want to do that for the rest of my life. I just want to be able to merge technology and humanity as close as possible. My favorite quotes, so the first one is from Yoda, from Star Wars. Yoda says, "Do or do not. There is no try. You're either in or you're out. You either put 100% in or you put nothing. You have to be prepared to sacrifice and to put as much as humanly possible into everything that you do. Because when you do that consistently day by day, there's no reason you'll fail." The second quote, I can never get this right. I always mess it up. It was made by a great educator. And I read it somewhere and it's always stuck in the back of my mind. I don't fear death. I fear dying without making a significant impact on the world around me. And that's what I want written on my tombstone. I want to know that the day that I died, I made a significant impact on the world around me. And those are the two things that I live by every day. I think it motivates me, pushes me, it keeps me alive, and it keeps me focused. To know that you need to be able to make an impact on the world around you, or it's not worth the time that you're putting into it. I'm fucking crazy. I do crazy things. Like, I don't hold back. I will take on any challenge. People tell me, downstairs in the studio, they're like, what can we do with this? I say we can do anything. Push the boundaries. Push as far as you want. I won't sleep for days. I'll be deep into projects. I'll be deep into figuring out a solution. And my personality is around that. I don't take no for an answer. I don't believe that there isn't a solution. I don't believe that there isn't a way to get it done. It may not happen today. It may not happen tomorrow, but it will happen. We won't stop until we get it right. And that's my personality. I push and I push and I push and I push, and I won't take no for an answer. And I won't hear that it can't be done or it's not possible. There's always a way to do it. And that's the way that I try to bring everyone around me. I try to empower everyone, and I try to make people think that nothing is impossible. Anything is possible if you push and if you think hard enough about the problem. And I'm a little bit erratic, and I'm a little bit short-tempered, and I'm a little bit impatient. But that's because you'll never get back the day that you spent. If I spend today doing nothing, I'll never get that day back. I'm very impatient, but that's because I understand time. Time is something that all of us have. No matter how rich you are or how poor you are, we all have the same time. We all have the same number of hours in a day. If you waste my time, I'm going to be upset with you. I have a short temper. I'm very somewhat arrogant about what I want to do and how I want to do it. But that's just because I don't want to waste time doing things that I don't want to do. So, I am impatient. I am sometimes arrogant, but I also do make sure that I push people as hard as they possibly can so that they can feel that they made an impact on the world. I really respect all the things that the big companies in the world are doing. What Google and Facebook and Apple are doing for augmented and virtual reality, I think it's amazing. I think that finally people are starting to realize that this technology has legs, that it has the ability to change the world. And so many people are putting a huge amount of investment and time and resources behind it. And I'm really passionately loving how fast the world is moving, and how much people have realized that there's still so much that needs to be done before we are embraced and emancipated as humanity. We think about the last 20 years, computers, phones, tablets, smartphones, smartwatches. Every piece of technology that has shaped our world dramatically has happened in the last 20 years. The world has now realized that we are not bound by these stupid ideas that we had before, or these stupid problems and challenges. We're embracing technology. People are investing their time and their money and their resources into expanding how far technology can possibly go. And that's the one thing that I really respect about everyone who's involved in these industries. We don't want the world to be the way it is. We want it to be better. And technology is empowering us to do so. We watch TV, we watch movies about spaceship and travels and all these crazy pieces of technology in the future. And there's people out there who see that and are making it. And I respect that. And I really want that to continue. I really want us as humans to push past the levels what we thought was possible and create amazing technology that can empower the world and fix the problems that we have right now. You know, everything can be fixed. Agriculture can be fixed. The population can be fixed. Education can be fixed. Technology can fix our problems. And I really respect and love how people are pushing to make that happen. I hate the way that some countries are not embracing technology and they're not fostering and supporting entrepreneurs. You know, when we talk about the biggest countries in the world, we're talking about China, Japan, America, you know, countries in Europe. They take risks. They put resources behind entrepreneurs and scientists and researchers and technologists. They put resources behind it to make, drastic improvements. But there's so many countries that don't. And there's so many people who don't. And that's the one thing that I really hate, is that globally as humans, we're not united to push technology to the next boundaries. There are pockets of countries and activities and people that are doing so, but it's not across the whole world. And people don't really understand how drastic technology can improve our lives. And that's what annoys me. I respect all the people in the world that are doing it, and I disrespect the people who aren't. Elon Musk is one of my role models. A South African-born entrepreneur who went to Canada and then went to America, went and studied engineering, electrical engineering, and then realized that, the world is his oyster and he could do anything. And he built one company after the other. When he told people that he wanted to start a rocket ship company, nobody believed him. When he told people that he wanted to start an electric car company, people didn't believe him. And that didn't stop him. He was on the verge of bankruptcy many times. But we look back at the last few years and we see the risks that entrepreneurs can take and the risks that people are prepared to take to see the future come to reality. I think Elon Musk is one of the most resilient people in the world, because no matter how crazy his ideas were or how people didn't believe he could do it, he still fucking did it, man. When nobody else did. None of us tried to build electric car companies or rocket ship companies. None of us have thought about these big problems and found ways to solve them. We said, it would be cool if we could get this. It'd be cool if we could get that. And he was like, nah, let's make it. Let's do it. Let's put it together. He found people that believed in it and he made it happen. And that's the resilience that more people need. When you want to do something crazy, when you want to do something that people don't understand or people don't think will work, fuck them. Just do it. Just do it until it's done. Try and keep trying and keep researching it, keep understanding and keep working until it happens. That man, he had $100 million. He had $100 million. And he said, fuck it. Let's build these companies. Let's see what happens. That's what we should all do. We should all push the boundaries. We should all push what people think will work and what won't work. We should take every opportunity to prove the world wrong, and we should try every day to make that happen. That's the most powerful story of resilience I've ever seen. You had all the money in the world. You could do anything you want, but you chose to do things that nobody ever thought was possible. And you almost failed so many times, but it didn't matter. You still made it happen. Success is a perception. If you feel that success is based on how much money is in your account, you're not going to succeed. If you think success is based on the awards that you receive, you're not going to succeed. Success is going to be something that you understand, something that you can measure. When you feel that you've succeeded, that's based on how you perceive it. I don't believe that I've ever succeeded. I think that I've just gotten little steps towards it. If I ever stopped because I felt I succeeded, I think I would die. So I keep pushing every day to feel like I've succeeded, but I know that I haven't yet. And it continually pushes me forward to keep going every day, to keep succeeding. Success is what's in your mind. It's what you believe to be successful. It shouldn't be a unit of measure that anyone else understands. It should be only what you understand. When you feel that you've succeeded, you'll know it. But if you measure it based on how much money you have or how many people you have in your company or how many markets you operate in and what's your turnover, all those metrics don't matter. It's how you want to succeed in your life. What goals you set for yourself and how you achieve those goals. That's what success really is. You need to understand what will make you feel successful, and you need to strive for that every day. And you got to keep pushing on it. When Google was being founded and started, Sergey Brin and Larry Page, the founders of Google, they went to 100 different companies, 100 different venture capital companies looking for funding for Google. And 100 people told them no. 100 people said no. And one company said yes. And that one company built Google. And look at what Google is today. You have to keep pushing, no matter what happens, no matter how many times you hear no, no matter how many times you hear that it's a stupid idea or it's not going to happen. Learn from that and refine it. Go in tomorrow into the next meeting, learning from what you learned yesterday, and just keep going forward. You know, Johnny Walker, man, just keep moving forward. Just keep walking. That's the way to do it. If you let the no stop you, well, you're never going to succeed, are you? If you let the no stop you in your tracks, well, you're never going to move forward. So just keep pushing forward. When people say no, ask why. Learn from the why. Figure out what you need to change, what you need to improve, what you need to do now, what you need to do tomorrow, what you need to do the day after that. Be very conscious of all the little steps that you have to make, you know, to get where you need to. You get a lot of little dominoes in a row until the dominoes get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until that domino's big enough to knock the big one over. There's always big challenges in the world. There's always big problems that have to be solved. There's always big challenges that are going to face you every day. What you need to understand is, how do I put the little dominoes in a row, bigger and bigger and bigger until that big one knocks over? That's how you make the world work out. It's your job to make people understand what you want to achieve. It's your job to make people understand what's possible. It's your job as an entrepreneur to inspire people and to make them understand what it is that you want to achieve in life. You know, when you are able to communicate all the things that you need to make something happen, and you're able to make people believe in that, and you're able to deliver what you promise, you will succeed. I think the first thing that you need to have in your entrepreneurial journey is ethics. Know where the limits are, know where the lines are, know what's the right thing to do, know what's the wrong thing to do. Don't ever do the wrong thing. Do the right thing. You'll always feel better about the decisions you make, but make sure that you do the right ones and you do the ethical ones. There's no need to steal from people. There's no need to steal from each other. The world has lots of money and we have enough for everyone. Do the right thing every day ethically and you'll be fine. And don't take no for an answer. When somebody says no, find someone who will say yes. Keep pushing. When somebody says it can't be done, figure out why they say that and figure out how to do it. Every no that you get is not a no. It's a piece of the puzzle you're missing to get a yes. Just keep looking every day for all those missing pieces you need and just keep moving forward and just keep pursuing. Get so entrenched and become so immersed in the job that you're trying to achieve, the goal that you're trying to achieve. Don't let it stop you. Just keep moving forward. Just keep knocking away until everything happens for you. I think if you give up, well, then you gave up and you're not going to succeed. Don't give up. Just keep pushing. Every day people tell me like this, what the fuck are you doing? This is ridiculous. What is this? I tell people that in a couple of weeks, I'm going to do X, or next month, I'm going to have this, or next week, we're going to do that. And then people are like, no, man, what are you talking about? You're crazy. And then next week happens and it's there. Next month happens and I've got it. You know, I tell people that next month I'm going to build a new microphone. Well, guess what? It's downstairs. Next week, I'm going to tell people I'm going to figure out a new way to build a camera. And that's what I do. You know, when I tell somebody I'm going to do something, I'm going to fucking do it. And that's how everyone should be. When you say I'm going to get it done, you get it done. You know, you have to be able to tell yourself that you can do it. You got to know that you can, and you got to go out and do it. Shit, you actually did it? Yes, because I said I was going to do it. I don't say things I'm not going to do. You know, so every day I say I'm going to do something a little bit different, a little bit crazier, a little bit further. and I push to get that done. You know, I don't say I'm going to do something unless I know I can do it. And I do that every day. It's not a skill that you can teach. It's not a skill that you can instill. The ability to be resilient, the ability to never give up, it comes because you keep doing so. It comes from experience. You know, if I look at myself when I was 20, I don't think the same way I do now. I don't believe things the way I do now. It's because I failed. I failed a lot of times, and I've succeeded a few times, and I just kept going. You know, I don't let things stop me. When I don't have money to do something, I figure out how to make it happen. If I don't have the resources, I'll find someone who does. And I just keep pushing at it. And, you know, when I think about all the challenges that have kind of presented themselves to me, I think back and I say, yeah, man, you know, I wouldn't be able to make the decisions I do now unless I failed all those times before. I wouldn't be able to know how to handle somebody because I've had that experience before. You know, this die hard attitude, this never giving up, that's not something you learn. That's something you gotta experience, you know? And you just have to keep experimenting and just keep up to learning. And when you do all those things consistently, that's when you never give up. That's when you figure out how to do the things in the future. You know, if you say to yourself, today I've started a business, but tomorrow I'm not making any money, you just gotta keep going, man. You know, like, I don't know how to do something, ask someone. You know, I don't know how to get this done. Look online. Just keep figuring it out until you do it. And when you start realizing that there's nothing that's impossible, and when you realize that you have the ability to do anything because you've done everything, that's when you really learn the big lessons in life. The best lessons can't be taught. They have to be experienced. No matter where you live, no matter what city, what country, doesn't matter where you are in the world, technology has empowered you to be able to have every piece of literature, every piece of content, everything that you need to learn in your life is in the palm of your hand. Smartphones, technology, the internet that's empowered you. Do not let your circumstances decide your future. If you're born in a place that doesn't have access to everything you need, figure out how to leave and go to the place that you can. You want to create something that the world has never seen before, do it. You're not limited by where you are. You're only limited by the mindset that you have. The world has changed to a point where we can do anything we want. You know, we have the power and the ability to do so, and the opportunities are there. But the opportunities will only present themselves when you pursue them. I don't believe in luck at all. I believe luck is preparation that meets opportunity. Every day you must be prepared for the opportunity that will present itself. Opportunities are out of your control, but the preparation isn't. Be prepared for everything that's going to happen in the world. And when you prepare and when you work hard and you're resilient and you don't give up and those opportunities present themselves, you will succeed at them. So every day, be prepared for the opportunities that are going to come and you'll just be lucky. My name is Steve Pinto. Go for gold. I believe that religion is a powerful thing, but I believe religion in the hands of people is a dangerously powerful thing. Religion is supposed to be bigger than humans. I don't listen to humans tell me religion because humans are able to abuse and manipulate things. The Quran doesn't teach you to be violent. It's people who manipulate the words to promote violence. The Torah doesn't teach you how to hate. The Quran doesn't teach you how to hate. The Bible doesn't teach you how to hate. But people manipulate those things to make others hate. I've traveled the world. I've seen 30 countries. I've seen how different people live in all different ways. And I can tell you that religions are necessary because people need to believe. And there are definitely higher powers out there in the world that are making everything happen. I believe that 100%. I don't necessarily believe that it is God or it is Allah or it is, you know, any of the words that we've created for them. I believe that there is a higher power out there. But I just don't believe that people should be manipulating and controlling the text and the words and the emotions that come with religions. So, yes, I believe that there is a higher being out there, but I don't believe any church really understands what that is. I think that you yourself must understand the morals and the values in your life that you need to become a better person. And religions teach you those. Religions deeply by themselves and the words that they teach, regardless of which religion you're in, it teaches you to be a better person. It teaches you to be a great person. If you have to go to a place to listen to someone telling you what to do with your life, you've made a mistake. Don't go to a church to look for salvation. Go to the book and find the salvation that you need. So I don't necessarily believe that any religion is correct. I believe that they all are. I believe that every religion tries to teach you how to become a better man or a better woman, better person. You just need to learn from it for yourself. You don't need anyone to tell you or teach you. You need to find real salvation by yourself. Gold for me is perseverance. It's knowledge. It's strength. And it's belief in yourself to achieve the goals that you want in your life. So always go for gold.